Day. Now, over the years, for the first video of the year, I've kind of made it a tradition to make it be the zodiac animal for that year. And I'm referring to like the Lunar New Year calendar or the Chinese New Year calendar. I'm never really sure what to call it. Because of that, and because this has happened over the course of like 5 years now, none of them really kind of match one another. None of them really look the same. And on top of that, some of them are really common animals. So we've made them multiple times already. Yeah, we're basically just collecting dupes of some, and then we haven't made any of the others at all. And I just think for a series that has been running for so long on this channel, it'd be really cool to have a set that just kind of looks like a collection when they're all together. So this week I've decided I'm going to crochet the entire Chinese zodiac. So this challenge is going to have some additional rules. So rule number 1, I have to complete them in order, starting with 1, which is like the rat or the mouse. And I'm not allowed to like jump ahead in the line just because an animal is more interesting to me than the others. Rule number 2 is I have to completely finish 1 before I'm allowed to start the next one. So not even sketching ahead. And rule number 3 is they do have to look like a collection at the end of this. Okay, so I also want to use the same color palette for all of them. And at the moment, what I'm thinking is the reds and the yellows. And look, I know that's not very creative, but we'll just see how we go. So for the purposes of today, we are going to be starting with the rat or the mouse. It seems like either is acceptable in this particular slot. I think my usual aesthetic is kind of cartoony with a dash of realism, and I kind of definitely want to lean further into stylizing them a little bit. So I'm leaning towards using some like exaggerated S-curves in the shaping, which is something I don't tend to do in my usual stuff, and kind of giving them that really lovely like swoopy roundness. So they're just kind of like cute little like dumpling potato friends, but they also all have to be kind of distinct, and you have to be able to tell them apart. But okay, the real stress with this first one is knowing that we are creating some defaults. Like we're just establishing some key design details that we're going to have to stick to for the rest of this challenge. So to be a mouse, I think it has a smaller nose. The longer nose is definitely ratty. Just trying to keep in mind the whole dumpling potato swoosh. Now, apparently the rat or the mouse represents being quick-witted, resourceful, versatile, and kind, which are all delightful traits, but I'm sure all of the creatures are going to have some sort of positive trait to them. Okay, so I think this is more my normal style. I don't know if it looks particularly like a mouse, but so I definitely want to lean a little bit more towards something like this. Yeah, he's just a chubby little guy. Okay, so the mouse seems like it's going to be like a pretty nice basic shape. And I'm a little bit relieved about that because I have some design details I'd really like to incorporate with the rest of these. There's like these little stylized florals that sort of feature really prominently on all of like the references that I like. So I want to try and incorporate them somehow. And the main decision I have to make at this junction is whether or not I want to be red with yellow details, not dissimilar to the original ox that we made back in the day, or if I want to be yellow with red details, because I'm definitely staying away from a realistic colour palette. My chair is in the way. We've still got red fluff just everywhere from the shrimp, but time waits for no one, which means that we must move on. Okay, so I have like this glorious sun bright yellow that I think will do the trick nicely, and I'm tempted to use the same red that we used for the shrimp. It's very saturated though, and I am once again worried about working with saturated colours, and red is just always a struggle for me. There was a success last time we tried it. We have some nice maroon. We have a very dirty floor. Please try not to focus on that. So those are 2 options. We do actually have other reds to pick from as well. They actually do quite a big range of reds. That's that dark red that Are they the same colour? Yeah, they are the same colour. So anyway, yeah, I think those are the colours that we're going to start with because there's 12 of these little guys to make, and so I really only get one shot all the way through. There's not going to be a lot of like remaking them in different colours, so I suppose at least if I have to do that, it's the mouse, so it should really only be one piece and some detail, so that's not the end of the world either. I'd rather make the right decision the first time if it's okay with everyone else. But we're going to try and keep it to kind of just this. So we do need the mouse to be on the small side, so I'm definitely going to do the body as one piece. I'm going to start from the tip of the nose and work back down towards the booty. Okay, so if I go with a starting magic ring of 6, that means the rest of the mouse is going to end up about this big. I'm going to go back down to 4. Me, I love a 4 magic ring. See if that helps us establish a slightly smaller scale. Ideally, this little guy will end up smaller than my pincushion. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. I think that's going to work. Do I want to make that starting magic ring in yellow to just give me the nose that I'm looking for? Okay, now
now it's a 4 magic ring with a color change in it. That's how quickly these things can like snowball on you. We started with a magic ring of 6, and now look at this mess. Okay, that's got some nice dimension to it. We might try that. Okay, so I'm liking the shape, but I'm hating the nose, so I'm really sorry, but I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna change it back to red. That's a me problem though. You guys are just gonna cut back to where we were up to. Having a hard time trusting the process. It's okay, it's all right. Shh, it's gonna be fine. I hate it. I'm changing it. Ugh. Okay, that is what I have come up with. It has potential. It's not exactly the shape I was planning on, but after 3 attempts, I really need to just get going. For some reason, it's the simple shapes I always get stuck on. Yeah, I don't know. Complicated shapes just seem to come a little bit more naturally to me sometimes. I think it's because I can fudge the details more and they still look cool, whereas like with simple shapes, you kind of really have to nail every single stitch, and I'm not sure I have, but I think I can make this work, so we're just going to go with it. So next up is the ears. Squeak! Want to try and make the ears two-toned, just to try and incorporate the 2 colours together. I think using flat colours is all well and good, but I think the more I can incorporate the 2 colours, the more interesting this set is going to be. So yeah, I'm gonna try and get like those 2-toned ears, maybe using some spike stitches or something, or maybe I'll just embroider on the second colour afterwards. I will work that out. And for the little feet, I'm not really sure. I'm gonna try them this way, and if we don't like it, I'll make them in the other colour instead. But yeah, I think that looks right. I think the tail has to be in the accent colour. Okay, so with all those we've got little feet, we have the ears, and we have the main base piece. I'm actually going to stop and sew them together at this point, just to see what we're working with. We're designing as we go, so it's a little less like make all the pieces, assemble all the pieces. So yeah, I'm going to sew them together and just see where we're at. So yeah, one of the design details that I did want to try and incorporate into all of these creatures is some sort of like little tiny floral type design. Now on the scale we're using today, that's really hard. But I'm gonna sit down, I'm just gonna mock up a bunch of little like possible floral designs on just using my computer, to see if I like any of them. Okay, so that was a lot of fun. But as you can see, I came up with 12 different designs, but honestly, I think that all of them are going to turn out too big. I had too much fun doing them, so I finished doing them, but I think that I'm going to have to really simplify this down if I'm going to try and incorporate it into at least something the size of this mouse. Because, I mean, look at him. He's just tiny. So, yeah, I'm going to just see if I can't make something a little bit simpler to use as an applique, and then potentially just revisit this concept altogether. I'm not sure it's working. I mean, it's a nice thought though, right? See, I even think that's too big. I'm gonna have one more go at making something slightly smaller. That might work for one of the bigger ones though. I think that's gonna work at this size. I think there's room for me to do some bigger ones on the bigger ones, but I think this will do pretty nicely. So I just need to finish sewing these on. There we go. Okay, so little mousy is done. I deliberately used some contrasting yarn there to stitch it on to give it just a little bit more of a detail, and I really like how he's turned out. I think he sets the scene really, really well for the rest of the series. He's a little big. I'm a little nervous about how big he's turned out. But yeah, I think he's got some good little details. He's got a good little shape to him. He's got a good little attitude. And I've established some interesting things here. So red is our base color, yellow is our accent color. I've incorporated some color changes as well as some appliques. But other than that, we haven't really had to like do much regarding shaping yet, which leaves me plenty of room to move with whoever is next. Who is next anyway? Okay. So from here, we are moving on to the second animal of the zodiac, who is the ox. All right, so the ox is next. And same colors, so I don't have to worry about that overly much, but it definitely needs to be bigger. And I think that's going to be the biggest hassle with this one here. It's going to be bigger. That's going to make some things easier as well. But I definitely don't want it to be as big as the original, the OG ox, but a little bit smaller than this. And at least it's not overly unfamiliar because we have already made something similar to it before. So I'm just going to start by once again like sketching it up and trying to work out exactly what shape it is that I want to make. And I'm definitely very interested in having like the head and the body flow into one big nugget rather than making them as two separate pieces. And then with the legs, I don't really want them to be much bigger than about 6 stitches around. So they have to be little noodle legs. And I'm going to try and keep that consistent as we work through the rest of them. There's definitely a lot more room for like little flowery details on this guy. So that's going to make it a lot easier. So yeah, I think just right off the bat, this is going to be what we go with. I suppose this is the crunch time for this particular video because I know we're only 2 in, but we've made 1 and that's fine. But like this is going to prove whether or not I can like translate all of the same details to another one as well. It's easy enough to design one when there's no restrictions. It's like now I have to actually like prove the pudding. Or however it is that saying goes. Okay, so I'm going to start at the end of the nose and kind of just work it up a little bit squarish. I think the real struggle with this particular piece is giving that nice jaw definition while not making the head set too far out from the body. The actual swoop of the body should be fairly simple after I manage that. Okay, so it turned out a little smaller in comparison to the mouse than I was hoping for, but I do still think that they're going to work and I do still think they're going to look okay together, so I am going to move on to the other pieces. Yeah, it's basically exactly what I drew. So I'm just going to sew it together and then we will focus a little bit more on the decorations. Okay, the base is done. So now I need to come up with some little round details to add to them. I don't think they need to be exactly the same as this, but I do need some kind of applique to go on there. If I grab the little round thing we made before, there it is. It is too big. Okay, so we're gonna have to come up with a different one for you. Okay, buddy? Ready? Go. Now this ox was supposed to be, I think, the largest of them all, though I can arguably make, there's maybe 1 or 2 that it could also be a candidate to be a little bit bigger, but basically, by making him this size, I have kind of locked us into a size that's going to make it really hard to make the rest of them. So I guess we can all just look forward to watching me work through that. In the meantime, this is the little floral thing that I came up with for him. And I'm toying with the idea of doing maybe something in the middle of the forehead as well. Yeah, Toddy. What are you doing, mate? But this is what we came up with for our ox. I just wish he was a little bit bigger, but at the same time, I do think these two belong in the same room. So I guess I'll be okay with it. Okay, so with our ox done, that means we need to move on to zodiac animal number 3, and that is... Okay, so that's the tiger. So that means a lot of stripes, which means I'm gonna leave that one to tomorrow. We'll come back and we'll try again then. Okay, hi, it's day 2. So I'm still not overly enthusiastic about stripes, but today we are going to tackle the tiger. So tigers are known for being brave, confident, competitive, and unpredictable. They're also known for being stripy. So with the stripes, I really just have to work out if I want to make them representational, as in like trying to like put them where they go, or if I can get away with some kind of stylized stripe so that I can keep using some of the other visual details I've used on the others. So we'll sketch one up real quick and work out from there how we're going to proceed, I guess. I actually think this is going to be one of the bigger challenges that comes out of this particular zodiac. Alrighty, so we have a sketch, we have a direction that we're going to attempt. Once again, I'm just going to be trying to make sure that it stays the same size as the other 2 that we've already made. And we're going to be working in red with yellow stripes, though, I don't know, part of me is saying yellow with red stripes, but I do want them to be consistent, and I think that part of that is keeping the main colour and the main accent colour the same. So it looks like this is how much red I have left, but never fear, I also have this from my stash, just a little leftover end piece, as well as at least one more full ball. So we're okay. Nobody stressed about me running out. This is the biggest stress because I don't have any more of that particular type of yarn. I do have a pretty close dupe for it though, that I think we'll get away with if we need to. There's still plenty of that left though. So we're going to start just by working up this main body piece. And we've gone for a very posed pose on this particular one. I didn't really want them all to just be like quadrupeds out there quadrupeding. And the tiger's just a really good chance to make something in a slightly different pose because like I know that there are other quadrupeds coming up that are a little harder to pose. So the tiger's a good chance to like just do a different shape. So I'm just testing to see if I can build these ears in. I'll see if it works. I'm perfectly happy to make them separately and sew them on, but I just thought I'd give one attempt to building them in and see if we like it. See if they face the right direction just naturally without too much fiddling. I'm not afraid to sew everything on though. It's a good way to be. Well, that's obnoxiously perfect if that's the back of the head. That was going to be the top of the head. Those ears really are nice though. I don't know, I'm going to have to think about it for a second. Okay, I know what I'm going to do. Ugh, this tiger has just been made to annoy me. Like, we've been a row of 19, we've been rows of 13, it's just sticking really aggressively to those prime numbers. I guess that's some of that confident, competitive, unpredictable edge coming out. You know me? Love those prime numbers. Okay, now I need the body to swing out to the side, not the front, so it's important that I like calibrate for that because it's really easy to just be like working down a line of symmetry. But no, we definitely wanted to swing out and around. So while I'm really happy with the shape that the head is coming out at the moment, even though this is like my 4th attempt, I'm worried that he's coming out way too small compared to the mouse. But any bigger than that, I feel like it's going to be too big compared to the ox. So I do think I need to go back and make it bigger, which is fine. I can just follow the same like progression. It's just it's 19 gross around at the widest point of the cheeks there. And I suppose we could just notch that up to 24. It's 5 extra stitches, which will make a big difference at this size. But I do think it needs to be just a little bit bigger. There we go. And of course I couldn't go up to 24. I had to go up to 23 instead. So I guess we're just collecting all the prime numbers, but it's fine. So I am now worried that this is too big, but I think it's better. I think we're better to being on form with the others. So now I just need to swing the body out to one side because it's a swinging little pose. We just swing the body. You'll be pleased to know we're now using rows of 17. And I am not doing this on purpose. looks like a crooked little mushroom. Looking pretty cute so far. Right, so we're just missing back legs and some details. I'm really, really pleased with how these ears have turned out. Made all in one piece as well. It's just I used the bug of how slip stitches look when they're done on the back of the work instead of the front as a feature to give just like this very fine little detail, and I'm very pleased with it. Perky tail. Look, I've got all of the pieces, and with the other two I kind of assembled before I added the details, but I think because we're going to have to add stripes to all of these pieces. That might be easier to do while they're still separate, so we're going to stop and just calibrate now. I think he's looking pretty good. I think in terms of the size of him compared to the ox, I think that we're doing all right. I think I can get away with it a little bit. So in general, I'm very pleased with him. He's a little pudding pop. Okay, I was doing stripes, but I've gotten distracted because I'm sorry. We need some tiny little beans. It feels crucially important right now, even if it's a pain in the foot. Don't know if I've gotten the number of toes strictly correct, but I'm sure you'll all forgive me because at least the beans are present. Beans! Yes, I like them very much. That is number 3, the tiger done. And I don't know why I was so afraid of this. Well, I know why I was so afraid of the stripes, but I think that I did a pretty good job. And in particular, he has a very basic little detail added on his kind of coin, as Mr. Bones is calling it. But I feel like I added additional toe bean details, and so I think that I get away with it. I do think this one has a more illustrated style to it, but when I look at him compared to the other two, I do think they all go together as a set, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. So that is the tiger done. Okay, so next up we have, it's the rabbit or the hare, and they are very different creatures, and I think we're probably going to lean more towards bunny than the nightmare thing that is a hare. Let's see, and rabbits are quiet, elegant, kind, and responsible. So yeah, we're just going to do a little sketch now and see what our rabbit's going to look like. And I don't know if it's just because we've just finished the tiger, but honestly, the rabbit doesn't feel that intimidating. I know I want it to be about the same size as the mouse, and probably a little bit like smaller in body size, but the ears will make up the volume for that. So yeah, no, the rabbit just feels like it's going to be pretty straightforward. I think the most complicated piece is going to be the shape of that tail. So really just the rabbit is kind of a warm-up for what's coming next, because I'm trying really, really hard not to think about the thing that's next on the list. I'm creating just a little triangle. I started with a magic ring of 3, which I think is the meanest thing I've done to myself so far, but I think this is coming out about the right size. Again, we don't want him too much bigger than the mouse, so I really need to like stop here. It's 15 at this point, and the mouse got to, I think it was 24 at his chonkiest, so that's my limitation for the hips of the rabbit as well. And we're back to the prime numbers. That row was 13. In fact, this whole thing has been like 11, 13, 11, 13. It's, I don't know, something about the size that I'm working at the moment is just like, no, there shall be no evenly divisible numbers for you. Can't do it. Stars aren't right. Okay, not loving the overall radish shape we've got going at the moment. Just trying to see if it can be saved somehow. I almost think we need less definition between the head and the body and just make him more of a bean, at the risk of him starting to look a little bit too much like the mouse. Okay, so here is the second attempt, and it probably doesn't look that much different on camera. I don't know, I'll have to compare the shots later. But basically I've taken out the definition of the underjaw, and I'm kind of curving him up a little bit more. So rather than having him in like this neutral position, I've got him like this. So I just need to create a nice little chunky bulb of a body. And we are already at 17 stitches around. So I've got a little bit of weight, I've got a little bit of room to move here, but not a lot. We have a base bun. Now we need just a whole bunch of pieces to attach to said base bun. And smaller than the mouse so far. So we're gonna have to really like bulk them out a little bit with ears and whatnot. I do think that one of the things that I have established here is the ears should be two-toned. I know the ox has single-toned ears, but the ox also has horns. So I do have to try and do yellow on the inside and red on the outside of these ears, because I don't make the rules, I just establish them as I go. I'm not really decided yet as to whether or not they're going to be pointy or rounded, but I think a little bit of a point might work a little better for this particular one today. Okay, I landed somewhere between curved and pointy, but I'm pretty happy with it. I just need to make a whole bunch of pieces now. So the last limb that I'm missing is really the tail. And I think it needs to be yellow. And it's kind of this shape here. So yeah, I need to use extendable stitches. So I think that's like what? A double, double, treble? Double, double? Something like that. Alright, so they're trebles then, not doubles. A little stitch in the front, a little slip stitch in the back to make it bobble over. Yeah, that's not too bad. It's little, it's cute. It's got the 5 little poofs that I wanted for it. It's proportionally appropriate. Alright, we're going to go with this for the tail. Now, I'm very excited because I think we might have finally found one that this shape will work for. Because, I mean, rabbits have really dominant hind legs. And that might actually work really nicely. So yeah, we're going to try this one here as our little decorative token. But in general, what we have to do now is just kind of stop and sew this one together and see where the gaps are. You're so handsome. Look at you, just a fine Mr. Bunny. Okay, we need it to the butt wheel. I followed the instructions, but I don't think they match, so I'm just gonna remake this again. I forgot to hit record again. There we go. I remade it. It's better, it's the same size now, so it might have just been a tension thing. But in any case, I have 2 that match now. And they go right here on the little booty cheeks. And I think that's all the pieces, so now I just gotta sew it together. To bean or not to bean? I think we need to bean. I think beans are an established thing at this point. Okay, I've twisted my own arm. Okay, there is our finished little bun complete with tiny little, they're foot pads, they're not really toe beans, but they're just little beans. So there is the rabbit, and I was worried about him turning out bigger than the mouse. Okay, the mouse has a bigger presence, but I think that we're gonna get a pass here. I'm sorry that mouse turned out so big. The rabbit looks perfect next to all of the others. Okay, now comes the day we've been dreading. Okay, so number 5 is the dragon. Now, I love making dragons, don't get me wrong. I've got a whole bunch of them on my shelf behind me and even more in storage, and like, you've seen the channel, right? You know I have a soft spot for dragons. The problem is, last time I tried to make a small dragon, there's also the fairy dragon. I think we've got one right there, who is smaller, but still way too big for what we're doing here. And on top of that, with the style that I'm going for here, it needs to be a proper, like, Eastern coily dragon. And doing that at this scale is also just a little bit nerve-wracking. So, this is honestly the big boss, I think, of this challenge, and ideally it would have come last, but we started with one and we're working through them. And so if I can make this one, the rest of this challenge should go pretty smoothly, but like, this is the one I'm kind of tense about. It's weird, but I actually think the feet are kind of the easiest part of this, but that's not where we start. We have to start with the body. Unfortunately, it still has to be about this size. That's really hard to do. And yes, if you're wondering, I do remember back at the start when I was like, oh, simple shapes are the hardest. No, hard shapes are the hardest. This shape is the hardest. Okay. Okay. Okay, never mind. I'm nailing this. No, you know what? I'm going back on what I said before. Because, like, look, is it perfect? No. No, it's not perfect. But I will say that this is one attempt, and I'm keeping it. It's good enough. The mouse, I think, was 4 attempts, and who else was it that took a few attempts? I think the bunny took the bunny was a couple of attempts too. So that's just like, no, I'm going back to what I was saying before. Simpler shapes are way harder than complicated squiggles. I'm just going to say it. So I'm very pleased with how the body turned out here. But of course, he needs a lot more decoration than some of the others because he's a dragon, and dragons need a lot more decorations. I'm going to try not to overdo it, but we'll see how we go. So next up, I think we will make his feet. Yeah. Treble crochets make really good little claws. Oh, and I forgot to mention before, dragons are confident, intelligent, and enthusiastic. So those are all lovely traits, I'm sure. I feel like dragons are always posing like this. Okay, good. So next up, the whiskers, and for these I'm just going to work over a long tail. I basically want them to be as thin as I can like conceivably make them, and tails are good for making them kind of curly, but also you don't have to deal with the clunkiness of having a base chain as well. So a little slip stitch at the tip to make it nice and pointy, and just a bunch of single crochet. There we go. Now, of course, the best bit, but let's just give it a little bit of a twist. A little bit of attitude. Okay, it's on the short side, but I think it'll get the job done. There you go. So that's one little nostril filler. Really glad I built those in, actually. It's going to save me some hassles. And 2 little nostril fillers. So what else? All right, we need some horns for the top of the head, I think. I've drawn like a series of them. I think this is 2 on top and then like 2 down. Or I could just go with 2 and then a fin. And for these ones here, rather than starting at the pointiest tip, I'm actually going to start with the base because I want them to be really, really narrow. And the way you get the pointiest point is actually making it the finishing off point. But it does make them a little tricky to sew on, but I have a trick for that as well. So if you hold on 1 second. So I've got my magic ring of 4 here, and now I'm going to work the next row just in the back loops, and then I can use the front loops to sew them on. Just gives you something to work your needle through. Yeah, that should do it. And we weave. Unbeweavable. And you pull it into, see that? Nice pointy little point instead of like a 4-stitch relatively blunt end. The thing you gotta be careful about is when you're weaving that end in is to not wreck your lovely pointy point. Okay, so that's on top of the head. That's 1, 2. Okay, coming together. So we need a little fin to go like back of the head and then like here and then a little bit for the tail. And then what we also need is some of those little round token details that I've been putting on all of them. And I think for this one here, I'm actually going to use the same ones that we've used for the ox buttocks. Just a little plain yellow circle, I think. And we'll do one in the middle of the forehead, maybe like a couple down the body. I haven't decided how many to do yet. I've obviously drawn a few on the thing. And then I might do some stitched on zigzaggy details too. But I think he's really coming together. Alrighty, there we go. Oh, no, we've got one more end sticking out. Big relief to be through the dragon. And I think he turned out pretty good, honestly. Like, he's so cute. Rawr. And he fits in with the rest of them, which is something I was worried about. So that is 5 down. So we're only 1 away from the halfway point. And honestly, right now, they're looking pretty good. Okay, so we are back for number 6. It is the snake, who is enigmatic, intelligent, and wise. So it's another coily one. Was trying really hard not to think about this one too much as we worked on the dragon, but it's just with the dragon had vertical coils, the snake kind of has horizontal coils. And I'm actually thinking about leaning a little bit on that hognose design that I did, was it last year or the year before? Anyway, in the past. And do him like all tied up in a little knot is my thought for the snake. So I'm going to do a little bit of sketching just to see where we land on it, but that's my current thought anyway. I don't know about you, but I'm getting thoroughly desensitized to using red. It's basically a neutral tone. So I'm definitely going to start by creating like the little head and neck portion. I do want him to be a little bit more popped out than he was for the hoggy. And once I get that done, we will turn our attention to the double stacked donut, but one thing at a time. Alrighty, it's donut time. Okay, well that fits him fairly nicely. Yep. Okay, it's been a longish day, but we are getting to the end of the snake now, which marks our halfway point. That's a really good place for us to leave it for the day. So far we have the head of our little hiss, as well as the double stacked donut of the body. And I've also gone ahead and made a little French fry of a tail. So what we need at this point is the embellishments. And I think because I've gone ahead and done yellow belly on the base piece, I'm going to need to do a little bit of a yellow belly piece for, I don't know if I'll put it onto the head, but definitely for the neck. And we're going to need a similar piece for the tail, just to like make it all look like the same creature. Now with those done, it's time to add the little tokens. And once again, I feel like I'm copping out a little bit because I'm going real simple again. I think just some little yellow circles with a red border. But because it's a snake, I'm going to need to repeat them the whole length of the coil. And I think I'm going to need them in 2 different sizes, just to make up for the different size coils. So there are all of those pieces. But having made them, I am going to sew them on with yellow just to get that little bit of contrast. It'll give a little bit of a fleck to it. It'll just make it a little bit more interesting than just plain circles, you know? So we are on the pointy end of finishing off this snake, so I am going to just assemble it now. Donut. Fancy donut. And there is the snake done, which brings us to the halfway point. Let's have a look at where we're up to, shall we? So we have the mouse, we have the ox, the tiger, the rabbit, the dragon, and the snake. And you know what? I still have had the most problems with the mouse so far, which, yeah, I understand is kind of a bit of a weird one looking at the others, but yeah, the mouse definitely put up the biggest fight so far. But we are only at the halfway point, and tomorrow we'll be carrying on with the 7th member of our zodiac. Okay, so we're going to start today with number 7. So number 7 is the horse, which is actually this year's animal. Well, this year as of I think it's the 17th of February is the actual new year. This is the pattern that I'm going to be releasing next week, if it all turns out okay. So I need it to turn out, you know, more accessible than some of the others, or just at least replicable. With the others, I've been pretty happy to just like do whatever. Whereas like this one here has to be really on point because it's the next pattern I'm putting out. Now, I don't know if I said it yet, but it is the horse, which is animated, active, and energetic. I might be overthinking this one a little bit. I'm gonna have to be careful to make sure that the detail doesn't just make it look like a My Little Pony. Okay, so I have a couple of sketches here that I might be able to work from, but I think that this is going to be one of those ones where until I actually pick up a hook and just start like feeling my way forward, I'm not going to really know what I'm working with. I'm going to try and make, I think, the head and the body all in one piece. A couple of little noodle legs. The mane and the tail, I think, are going to be the main kind of like hurdle here, if you'll forgive a horsey pun. You know what? Don't forgive the horsey pun. I'm not apologizing for it. That and keeping it to scale, because like the other ponies that I've made over the years have been on the larger side, and we need this little guy to be a little bit smaller. So, yeah, we're just going to see how we go. It's already coming up bigger than I necessarily want it to be. No, I think we're okay. I think we're fine. It also can't be too small compared to the others. It's just this never-ending balancing act. Alright, I'm going to try and build the ears directly into the row as well, just to save us some hassle. Okay, and I also have to curve off the back of the jaw. Not as delicate as I drew in this one, but pretty close to this one. So, so far so good, I guess. Okay, now we need to flare back out to start creating the neck. Everything just really can be one step at a time. Hopefully my tiny pony won't be too tiny. These are the real problems we're facing here. Oh no, my tiny horse is too tiny! Okay, so far so good, but she is coming out a little bit small compared to the others, and that's making me a little bit nervous. I don't know. I think that the only way through is forward, so we'll see how we go with the rest of it. Sorry to get all squeaky on you, but I'm feeling kind of squeaky. Is our body base perfect? Nay, says the horse. Yeah. I've amused myself, I'm sorry. But I think it's not a bad little shape, particularly as it's all in one piece. I'm just going to cut down on the sewing a little bit. So now all we need is like legs, hair, details, all that jazz. And so we're just going to try and like knock that out all in one hit so that we can get on to the second job of today, which we're not allowed to think about until we finish this one. So moving right along. Give her some tiny pony peepers so that she can watch us carefully and supervise. Alright, gotta make sure I get the rotation of these right, so that all their spokes face the same direction. Is it earth ponies this year? No, it's fire ponies this year, so I suppose the red and yellow is kind of appropriate. It's the year of the Ponita. Do you feel Ponita? Good, because you look Ponita. Okay, we need hair. The question is, do we do little, like, swirly blobs? Or do we go for, like, a bunch of wild ponies riding free across the plains? Bonus points if you get that reference. Okay, I think I know what I'm gonna do. Okay, I've tried something here, but I don't really like it. I was gonna do like little spikies or something, but I don't like it. So we're going to plan B. Okay, this is a new trick that I'm trying to get these cute little spirals. But I think that's quite cute. Well, if I put it there, it looks like a goat. And we're not allowed to work on the goat yet. This is hard. This is so frustrating. I don't know why I have this mental block when it comes to hair. This is my problem with mammals. Okay, there's too much hair. I don't even like this that much. I hate them. Mammals. They're awful.
Come back to it.
Can't. One of the rules is I gotta finish one before I can start the next.
Why would you make that a rule?
Because, like, I have to give some semblance of a challenge to this. Everyone knows I can pump out creatures.
Why is it a challenge, though?
For tension.
I thought this was really cool, so I did it. Here, watch.
No, that was the Mantis's story. This is a different format.
I like the Mantis's format.
Okay, you're allowed. Okay, that's the closest I've come to liking one, so we might be going with this. Now, on to the main event. Look, as I'm sewing this one together, I don't think it's coming out quite like I wanted it to. So maybe I will have a poll. So you'll find that on my YouTube community tab. That's just like, hey, which pattern would you guys like to see next week? And I'll leave it open for like all of 24 hours before I have to film it. Yeah, that'll just like give you guys a choice. I think I'll have to pick 4 of them, but I'll pick my 4 favorites. And I'll make sure that the horse is included in there. So you guys will at least have some say as to whether or not you want another pony. Because frankly, I think that if you really want a little horse pattern, my Pegasus pattern from a few years ago is probably better than this one. Okay, so there's the horse. I'm not loving it. I don't think it's top 5, but it's done. I don't know, something about manes and tails is just something I really struggle with. Nay, says the horse. Anyway, so you can pick the horse as the pattern for next week if you still want it, but I'll give you guys a choice of some of the others as well, just in case. So that is number 7 done. Which brings us to number 8, and number 8 is the greatest. No, number 8 is the goat. And we've only recently just made a goat, as you can see, right there on top of Mr. Bones' head. But I'm going to try and like bring something a little new to this particular goat. Yeah, we're going to make a goat. And apparently goats are calm, gentle, and sympathetic. And you know what? That is not my experience with goats. But anyway. Dang it, we're back. Back to needing multiple attempts to get it right. I know what I'm going to change. Always know what you're going to change before you start frogging. Unfortunately, what I want to change is right back at the start. Look at me actually using a magic ring of 6. It's nice when that happens. Soothing. Turns out all goats are actually secretly ducks in disguise. Who knew? Now, what's fun here is that I'm going to get the chance to reuse some of the parts that I made thinking they were for the horse. So, like for example, these bits here, I think make the perfect little curly horns. Only problem is that they both face the same way. I will work that out. And some little ears in there, some little legs, but honestly, goats coming together pretty fast. Now, just to work out how to get one of these to curl the other way. Yeah. Or to decide that I don't care, but I'm not at the don't care point yet. There we go. Turns out that working the hook from the other side works for this piece too, so that can now go on the other side of the head. He is now a horned goat. We're just going to be real careful with the language we use around that. Okay, let's put your little eye pins in. Some little ears next. And then 4 little matchstick legs. They just need to be pretty much the same as the horses, but I'm going to go 1 stitch thinner. So where the horses ended up as like 5 and 6, the goats I'm thinking will be 4 and 5. Okay, I think I forgot to talk my way through most of this, but I'm just adding the eyes now, and then Goatly here will be done. And of course a little goatee. And that is 1 finished goat. Okay, so that is 8 of them down. We have just 4 to go. Little goat turned out fine. Oh, it's just like, I think I've ranted about quadrupeds before, but they're not my favourite things to make. At least in terms of mammalian quadrupeds. I don't know what my problem is with them, but at least they've been staying away from the prime numbers, am I right? So, next up, we have number 9, which is the monkey. Now, we all know that I have a long history of having disagreements with primates, but this one's going to be okay. It's just going to be a cute little monkey. It's going to be fine. Now, monkeys are apparently sharp, smart, and curious. So, do with that what you will. So it's not so much that I have a problem with primates as they kind of creep me out. And when I add that into the fact that I also don't particularly enjoy making like humanoid or people-shaped things, they're just like a twofer of something that isn't super high on my to-do list, you know? But we're gonna get through it today. We're gonna try and make something little and cute. It's gonna have a nice curly tail and it's gonna be fine. Okay, so the pros and the cons of this whole monkey thing, monkey business, is I'm not overly familiar with what shapes they're supposed to be. I think I've got something that's going to work here. I'm a little bit nervous about this one here, which is funny because after surviving the horse, which turned out terribly, and the dragon, which turned out excellently, and the mouse, that was way more trouble than it was worth, it's, I don't know if this I'm sort of rambling on a little bit, but I think that just goes to show how badly I'm trying to put off starting the monkey. We're going to be fine. I know we're going to be fine. So, yeah. Okay. Right, so I know that the face and the muzzle pieces are going to be separate, so I can just start in my red and just work up a little head, I guess. And then if I can gracefully dismount into the body, we'll be doing okay. Because I do want those shoulders to be kind of hunched. This is good. It's the ones that we're afraid of that are normally the ones that give us the greatest potential for joy. Okay, got to curl in the underside of the head now because we want to give it the impression of being like a ball that's been perfectly inset into it like a potato. And then I think the body isn't at a bad width now either, so we'll just give that just a basic lap around and see what shape we're actually working with. Okay, there's a little bit of asymmetry kicking in at this point because I do want the head turned to be facing forward regardless of which body we kind of end up with. I'm kind of hoping that we end up with more of a dumpling, but I'm open to this because like the back of the head just can slope into the rest of the body, whereas like the front of the head needs to have that slight definition going on. So this is no longer as simple as just like making a vertical line of symmetry or anything like that. Now we're shaping individual bits, and I think this is the first time I've had to do that throughout all of these. And after all that, his face is probably not even going to end up that much turned, you know? Okay, back of the head, front of the head. Face will go here, He is not symmetrical, which is what we were aiming for. Okay, one happy little monkey dumpling. What else do we need? Let's tackle a couple little face pieces for you, just to see how that feels. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Because I'm doing this face piece in yellow, that means that this is going to be the first of our 12 to have red eyes instead of yellow. Okay, so now he can speak no evil, see no evil, and we just need to make sure that he can hear no evil. I actually think I'm going to do the ears the same way I did the tiger's ones. I was going to do them as nubs, but I actually think the tiger ears are going to be perfect for this. And it's just another design feature that they can all have in common. Oh yeah, that's going to work perfectly. Ah, I love this solution. Alrighty. Arms and legs next. Alrighty, and there are your arms. Now don't you go flinging anything now. These little flingers are ready. Let's hope that he can control himself. So we just need legs. Don't do this to me, okay? Don't become adorable. I can't take it. I don't want you to be cute. I need you to just not do this. Oh, he's just a little guy who still needs a long curly tail. So we'll just whip that up. Well, yes, this is a 4-stitch tube. It should possibly even be a 3-stitch tube, but I just don't hate myself enough. Oh, why are you so cute? So where does your decorative piece go? You could do one on either side. Do the little butt cheeks, I think that'd be funny. Yeah, maybe just one middle of the body, one middle of the body. Not dissimilar to the goat's location. He's already got a good mix of like red and yellow on him, so it doesn't need to be a particularly large piece. I think that could work. In case it's not abundantly obvious, I'm making these up as I go! Which way after the radioactive symbol go? I want to make sure that it's not facing that way. Maybe like that, just like on a little kilter. Wait, I know something can be off kilter. Can something just be kilter? That would mean that kilter means level. Because if something's off kilter, it's not level. Okay, so I want this to be off kilter then. There we go. So now I just have to sew him together. Okay, he's kind of cute, even with his little red eyes. Hold my hook for me, buddy. What a little mate you are. So he did turn out unexpectedly cute. That's not my fault. It's not intentional. He's just an absolute... He's the closest I think we've made so far to an actual little potato dumpling, which was the plan all along. He's just a little guy. So, yeah, that is number 9 done. So now we're on to number 10. Okay, so number 10 is the rooster. Though I believe chicken is also acceptable, we are going to be sticking with rooster today. And bird is a little bit more of a comfort zone for me, rather than like the quadrupeds and the primates and, you know, all that other stuff. It's like birds! I love birds! I also gotta say, I find something really satisfying about just like filling in a page like this, one little thing at a time. By the end of it, this should look pretty cool. Okay, so I think the main struggle here is going to be working out whether or not to put like yellow on the top or to make the whole base piece in red and just make this a textural thing. Then yellow details on the wings, yellow tail feathers, and then like yellow bits, you know? And he is looking kind of chickeny, but I'll make sure that I give him a nice fine plumage of a tail and that should fix it. Well, not fix it, but that should make it okay. Alrighty, so I'm going to give this a go in red. And we're just going to hope that it all comes out looking okay. We're going to start at the very top of his nugget and try and build up like a cone and then a swoosh. that's too small. Still not big enough. You wait, the next one will be too big. Okay, I think that we have a correct sized head this time. It did not turn out too big, so that's a good thing. I'm gonna try and build in a little neck ruffle, and then we'll swoop out the body. My swoops have not been going quite to plan with any of the others, but we'll try again. There's always time to try another swoop. It's a little more exaggerated than I was planning, but I think it might work. Alright, it's swooping time. I think we're getting a pretty good swoop, actually. Alright, so I kind of want to leave a few stitches skipped just to help me anchor the tail feathers later. So we'll be giving like a little swoop foot. But I think it's time to start closing in the front. And once again, the mouse is disproportionately big, but all of the others seem to be fitting just nicely into order. What a disobedient little mouse. Look at you, you're a rebel. Gotta stuff the chicken. It's just the rules, I don't make them. It's pretty good. One chicken nugget. Now it needs to be a fancy chicken nugget, so now we need to make the fancy. You go over there and Rooster. Okay, that's a little too close to its dinosaurian roots. How do I make this smaller? Might have to just do little French knots. I don't know how I can make these any smaller. Okay, well, instead of the crest, maybe I'll do like a beak and wattle configuration. So we'll go treble, slip stitch, picot, slip stitch, and treble. Tiny. But it's still too big. You might just get an entirely embroidered face. Okay, that's a good sized foot. Okay, no, that's a foot right there. Chicken. This isn't how I planned on using this piece, but I think they make really good little feet, so I'm happy to go with it. I like making chicken noises. Okay, that might be small enough. I think I'll use these for the wattles as well. Magic rings of 1. I think that's a new record for me. Think one more? 3 little feathers. There are your fancy butt ribbons. You just need some wingies now. These wings might be too small. Which is funny because all the other pieces have felt way too big. But we're gonna go with them. She's just got dainty little wings. Look at those tiny little wings. Okay, I gotta sew all this together. I do love that feeling as I'm sewing them together, where they just become slightly less dangerous. Yeah, come on. Okay, we just need a beak. So I think it might be time for the one and only French knot I've used throughout this process. If I can remember how to do it, that's the plan. There we go. Tiny little beak. I did my best. I know it's not perfect. Okay, so with little McCluck, they're all done. It's kind of a mid-ground between a rooster and a chicken, I think. But still, I think it fits the brief, and so we can move along. I do wish I'd made those wings just a little bit bigger. He's got tiny feet, which is cute. So, with the chicken done, we have just 2 more to go. Okay, and so next up we have the dog, who is apparently lovely, honest, and prudent. I have kind of a hard time working out what a stereotypical dog looks like. And I know that sounds really weird, but with a cat, it just kind of makes sense, even though there's lots of different types of cat. But I get so confused when I look at how many types of dog there are out there. So, cross your fingers for me that I can work out what the average dog looks like. You wouldn't think that would be the biggest problem we would have, but here we are. Okay, that looks like a dog. So what's going to be really interesting here is there doesn't seem to be a lot of opportunity to introduce any of the accent colour, whereas a lot of them others, like you can see that they all at least feature it semi-prominently. So I can do the insides of the ears, but they kind of fold over, and so I don't really know if that's necessarily a solution. We are going to have the emblems on him, and we'll try maybe toe beans, but again, that's not a super visual detail. Yeah, so I think he's going to be just like all over Red Rover. Honestly, after all of the curved bodies that we've done so far, I'm having a hard time just like conceptualizing this one here. So I think I'm going to split it into like a snout piece, like a head and body piece, though I could also split that there and do a body piece and a head piece if I need to. Sometimes it's okay to lean on sewing when you're feeling a little bit less like capable and such. That just might be the vibe today. So yeah, I had to break it down into a number of pieces, but I think those pieces are coming together. All right, so I've made a little paw and there is room for toe beans underneath. So we need 2 front legs and 2 back legs. Then, okay, what's next? Maybe some ears? Now they have to be real small. I don't know if there's a lot of room to actually introduce any yellow here, so maybe we'll just stick with the red. Still, working out how many stitches to do here is kind of complicated. We're getting closer. Time for the waggy little tail so that we can know if he approves. We'll make it out of 2 pieces just to give it a little bit more structure, but I do think that's a pretty good shape. So that's just a chain where I've curved it one way by piling increases up it. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we go single, increase to start the curve, increase 3 to continue the curve, and an increase in the last stitch to lock it in. Oh, he's happy. Oh, that's a relief. Okay, so we've made a lot of the pieces here. In fact, all of the main base pieces. And so all we're really missing now is the token details, those little yellow details. And I do think that I've leaned really heavily on just plain circles for a lot of these, but I also think that has to do with the order we've had to design them in. Maybe I'm just making excuses for myself, but I do think that plain circles are gonna kind of be the move here as well. I think we're gonna go for markings very similar to what we did for the snack, in that they are like a plain yellow circle with red around the outside, but the way the red stitches fall, it turns the yellow into like little stars. And then we will sew them on with some yellow as well, and that'll just give them that fleck. Now, there's not a lot of yellow on this particular one, but that's just how it turned out this time. And let's be honest here, he is a very good boy. Just look at him. Okay, I may have gotten carried away there. Maybe I'll use the third one. Okay, good, excellent. Let's sew them together. Off. Not as much fun as chicken noises. Look how cute they are! Oh, you are such a good boy. Alright, you just need your tail now.
Oh, he's looking very good.
Just more of a general awareness.
Ooh.
What's wrong?
Sorry, the needle's straight in the butt.
Oh, sorry, honey.
Oh.
That is how sewing works.
Oh, yeah, okay.
There he is. Okay, so with the dog done, he's such a good boy. Look at this. It actually looks like a proper dog. Like every shape of this thing. Dog. I'm very pleased with myself. So with the dog done, we have just one to go. All right, so the last one we have to make is the pig or the boar. And the pig is apparently compassionate, generous, and diligent. And now this should be the victory lap of patterns. My headphone's falling out. Now this should be the victory lap of all of these patterns. We have already established every design decision, every color choice, all of the shaping choices. We shouldn't have to make any actual decisions here. This should just be a matter of just cool, let's make a pig. And we're going to try and get this done in the 46 minutes we have left on this camera. But look, just one little square left of our page. So, Piggy, we want him to be nice and round, and we want him to be thoroughly gruntled. No disgruntled pigs here. Okay, this should all be pretty straightforward. Okay, so now we have this perfect little oinky body. I just got to make some ears, some little feet. He's just a little roly-poly. And you ready? This is the fun bit of the tail. I'm never going to get bored of that. And I'm just going to sew all of those pieces on. Whoosh. Okay, so with all of those pieces made and attached, now I just need to do the little circle details. And I think I'm going to do 3 different ones on the butt here. I just think that's a really good idea. And so I'm going to go shopping amongst the others to pick which spots I want to use. So I'm thinking, who has the littlest dots? We need some little dots to start with. Some of the butt spots from Mr. Ox, I think, are the option for one of them. One of them should literally just be a little yellow magic ring. And then for the big one, so I'm thinking either something like this from the monkey, or possibly the little 5-spoke one from Monsieur Mouse. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Yeah, so definitely gonna take some vibes from the ones we've already made because we've made so many, and give our little piggy some fancy butt decorations. Ooh. Okay, so there is our 12th and final little zodiac creature, the piggy, and that means that I have completed this challenge. I have been designing animals in this range for I think it was 7 days. So, but 12 in 7 days isn't too bad. So just to review, we've made our mouse, ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, goat, monkey, rooster or chicken, dog, and finally our pig. So there we go. I crocheted every animal in the Chinese zodiac. So this kind of video is something I'm thinking about doing a little bit more often. It's basically the I crochet every. So if you have any groups of like every that you'd like to see created, let me know in the comments. I have a pretty long list already, and I've basically rearranged my upload schedule this year to give me the chance to finally work through some of them, but I'm definitely open to more ideas if there's anything you guys want to see. And you know what? I'm looking at them and I think I have a few clear favorites. So first off, the tiger. Something about the stripes. They scared me, but now I love them. So the tiger is in my top, let's pick a top 4. I am quite fond of the dragon. I mean, I'm a dragon girl, so what can I say? So dragon is probably in my list. I'm very pleased with how the dog turned out. And I'm also strangely proud of the monkey. So yeah, they're probably my top 4 from today. Now, I will put a poll up, including the horse in that, as to which pattern of these 12 that you would like me to put up on the channel for you guys next week. I'm including the horse because it is, of course, heading into the year of the horse this year. I think that's, again, February 17th or 16th or 17th. I should know that answer. I'll put it up on the screen for you. Other than that, that's it for today. So, okay, bye. A wild Mr. Bones approaches.
Yes?
I mean, if you want.
Yes. I can crochet. Put a cutie mark on him. So it goes. No, I'm too nervous. It's like I know that I could just put it through and then like do the thing, but it's just like I start to do it. My brain goes, no, you're just going to ruin it.
You can stab this as much as you like.
Oh, I do not like that. I do not like that.
What don't you like?
It feels like too much force, you know?
Oh, I mean, that's a particularly thick fabric.
There you go.
So that's not how they all feel. And get you a smaller piece if you like.
Oh God, I'm pulling out stuffing as well.
No, that'll happen.
This is awful.
No, it's not. It's not awful.
This is awful.
It's fun.
Get back in there. Back in. Yeah. Where did you come? What are you? And where did you come from?
Plastic. Polyfill.
Why is
Polyester fill.
Why is there a big piece of plastic?
No, it is.
Poor guy's full of microplastics. You know those are carcinogenic? Poor thing. Why does he have no eyes?
Technically, he's full of macroplastics. You can see them.
You're full of macroplastics. It's like mega. It's like massive cancer. Could we get him some eyes?
Sure. Hold on 1 second. Do you want big eyes or little eyes?
Little eyes. 1 second. I'm doing something very important. Okay, there's the mouth. May I trim?
Of course. I'm going to feel like an absolute monster if I ever repurpose him for anything else now.
There we go. Much better. He's doing much better now. And he can watch you.
He can. He can watch me. Just to take a second and show you all what Mr. Bones just got up to. Okay. Glad you had fun, honey.
Have fun. He looks like something from Wallace and Gromit.
He is your son, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, I just found that quite interesting. Yeah.
Could you look up something for me?
Yeah, sure.
In Latin, what does pluribus mean? I think it's like community or togetherness or something like that.
Something like that. Let me check it out. Yeah. Pluribus is Latin for many.
Many. Okay, that's good. So I've decided that your creation in here is a hive mind, and I've named him Pluribus.
That's cool. I like that. We are pluribus.
We all are Pluribus.
Because I saw it.
Can I?
There you are. I'll wrangle this.
I'll say, now he's no longer Pluribus. He's now Pluribus. 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 Oh, howdy, y'all. Name's Pluribus.
I'm the sheriff around these parts.
I'm the honkiest, tonkiest Pluribus
shootingest
hive mind that you'll ever do see.
I was thinking, I wanted to put the 12 days of crochet on his back and turn him into a school bus.
Yeah, he's a pluribus.
You could just like worm his way over to somewhere and be like, and if you look out the left window,
If you look out, no, you got to remember he's southern. Remember.
And if you look out the no.
Okay, y'all, if you look out the left window, you're going to see that there's a field, and then there's going to be another field on the other side.
But for me, it's not that he's Southern. It's that he thinks being Southern is cool. And so it's not a real hat. It's a hat that he got because he thinks it's cool. And so he would be trying to do a Southern accent, but it would be bad.
I like that the implication there was that my Southern accent wasn't bad.
Oh, of course, your Southern accent was good. His best friend.
Oh, his best friend is the sea sheep?
Yeah, leaf sheep.
We're dropping so much lore in this video.
Buddy.
Buddy.
That's the leaf sheep. Buddy.
No, I don't think the leaf sheep's on camera, so. People are gonna be like, it's a great video, but she got very distracted near the end.